Whereas in the first picture, we see that the girls and boys are sitting together on the benches. So this is a particular way of seating arrangement that the teachers have kind of enforced in their respective classes, isn't it? So I want you all to tell me now, based on these two pictures, which is a more suitable kind of a sitting arrangement in a class? Whatever suitable, I mean, whatever you all feel right, please respond.
The first picture.
Yeah, now give me your views also.
First picture.
No, Maitri, go back to the picture.
Sorry, one second. Yeah.
Yeah.
First one itself.
Who's speaking? Can you just say also? Okay, I'll just make my screen bigger maybe.
మాట్లాడుతున్నప్పుడు ఒకసారి పేరు చెప్పి మాట్లాడరా?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me, Kalpana.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
first
Kalpana.
picture. Yeah, yes, ma'am. In the first itself, the first picture.
No, why? You should give me your reasons also. Why do you think the first picture is more suitable as for a classroom arrangement?
Yes, ma'am. Because since childhood, they feel both the boy and girl are equal.
Okay.
Isn't it? Right? Then there will be no discrimination at all after when they grow up.
Okay.
Then the teacher will be at the end, right? Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? Yeah, anything else? Yeah, there are some more things which you can think about if you see, look at these pictures.
In the second one or first one, ma'am?
No, in both the pictures.
Yes, some of the students are looking at other side, and some of the students, most of the students are looking at the same picture, and only these first two, boy and girl in the first bench, they are looking at other side, I think.
Okay. Okay. Now in the second picture. See, now in the second picture, very clearly we see that the boys are sitting at one side of the class,
Yeah.
and the girls are on one side. Only in the center, you have two boys, because maybe the room was small enough and they could not accommodate two more boys. So that's why they have been put along with the girls, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So
So
through
see,
this,
both classrooms are of mixed students, for girls and boys, but the seating arrangement is different. So this is dependent on the teacher. The teacher generally allots the students their places, and I think every child in every class has a fixed seat to come to every day. At least when I was in school, I had one fixed desk and one fixed chair, and I had my place with my roll number written on the desk. I think it is still the same, I suppose, nowadays. So the students just can't go and sit wherever they wish to. So anyway, now you keep these two pictures in mind as we progress in our presentation, because we'll have to keep in mind how exactly the seating arrangement was done. Maitri, the third slide, please.
Yes.
Okay, now we are going to look at some questions. Should boys and girls go to school together? How does gender affect the classroom? How are boys and girls treated differently at school? And with gender, Maitri, somebody's waiting in the waiting room.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah. And with gender does better at school. Now, these are questions which we are going to tackle as we go along in our presentation. But if you all wish to tell me something about anything specific you want to say immediately when you look at these questions, you're free to do so. Would you like to comment, give your some sort of answer for any of these questions right now? Okay, we'll just say a yes and no at least. Should boys and girls go to school together? How many of us are saying yes, and how many of us are saying no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anyone
Yes,
saying
madam.
no? Anyone saying no to this?
How does gender affect the classroom?
Yeah, Vasanta Lakshmi, anything, would you like to say? Should boys and girls go to school together?
Yes. Yes,
So
madam.
everyone, so by and large, we all are agreeing with that.
Ma'am, it's
How-
me, Kalpana.
Yeah.
Some of the students will go, but some of the students won't go because of their parents' force.
You mean the social
If-
conditioning
if,
that goes
if a
into
boy and girl are neighbors,
Hmm.
then because of their parents' force, some of the students won't go because their parents won't allow like that to go
Okay.
together, right, ma'am?
Yeah, right. And anyone
Some
else
of
would like, right? Now, anyone else would like to give some answer to this? Any other
Yes,
reason why the girls and boys don't go to school together? One is parents would not allow them to go.
uh,
Suppose it
good
is
afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, Shruti.
Yes, ma'am. So, first question, I have my own experience. When I was a child, me and my best friend, he is boy, we both go to school at together. But when we go together, school, in the sense, our classmates, chala, in the sense, ఎక్కిరించేవాళ్ళు in the sense they used to give some other word apart from friend. So చిన్నపిల్లగా till 8th or 9th we used to go together, but after that we never went together because they used to tell other name about
You
our
mean,
friendship.
okay. You mean some romantic angle came up in what people would think of a girl and boy going together. Is it?
Yes, absolutely, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now, how does gender affect the classroom? See, this is a much more detailed discussion. So we are not going to discuss it in detail right away. But if you all want to say something in a sentence or two, you all are most welcome. Do you think gender affects the classroom? The number of girls there are and the number of boys there are in a classroom?
Question
Suppose there
Teachers, how about is the class more rowdy when there are more boys?
Okay. Suppose there are more girls, is it less rowdy?
In some schools, some of the teachers under certain circumstances, like teacher may divide boys in a group and the girls in a group, and they conduct a quiz for them. Like in that group, if girls won, if girls won in that quiz, then definitely it will affect like girls are great, and if
Okay.
the boys group will won, then they feel so proud, like girls are waste, like that. So in such a way, the classroom will affect in certain circumstances, ma'am.
Okay. You all are you all are very smart. You all are giving very good answers. So my whole presentation already, I mean, what I have written, you all are already answering all that.
నిర్మల గారు ఏదో చెప్దాం అనుకుంటున్నారు.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
In my high school classes, what I found is that all the girls, those who are there in the class, they will be sitting together and they'll be gossiping or else chit-chatting. And whereas the boys, they will be fighting or using filthy languages like that, filthy language like that.
Okay.
And what happens is that they want to get the attention from the girls. In that way, they in such a way that they shout and they fight, and they are very crazy about things drawing attention from the girls, like that.
Right. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll go to the third question. How are boys and girls treated differently at school? This is again kind of a reflective question, and we need more time to look at what all answers would crop up, which we will do so during our presentation. But immediately, if you would like to say a few things, you can. Are boys and girls treated differently by the teachers? Nirmala, your mic is not on. Your mic is not on.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes,
now
ma'am.
you can speak.
Yeah. We never see the differences between the boys and the girls, but whereas we encourage the girls to be equal with boys. Especially in
Okay.
my class, I will encourage all the girls. So whenever there are some competitions held by the NGOs like that, and the competitions that we conduct in our school, I myself encourage all the girls. I say, when the boys go, you also go and participate. So here you have to get the first prize. You have to get the first prize. Like that, we encourage them in such a way that they'll be coming out. They'll be feeling confident in facing that kind of challenge, and in that way they'll be competent with the boys. That's what I expect from my girls.
Good. That's a ideal teacher's, thinking, like how the class should have equity as well as
Yes, ma'am.
equality
Yes,
between the
ma'am.
boys and the girls.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now which gender does better in school? Any responses to this?
Yes, ma'am. Female only. Girls.
Right, because we are
Girls.
women, are we saying it?
Yeah, girls
Both,
only.
both, ma'am.
Treat them
Both,
equally.
Both,
both,
Both are the better. Both are equal.
both are equal, right?
both are equal.
Okay, both are equal. So you mean the students who are more hardworking will do well, whether it's a boy or a girl, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, now with these few questions, we'll progress now. Maitri, next slide, please. Maitri, is the full screen? Is the presentation on the full screen?
Yeah, I
Okay, that's fine. As long as everyone can see it. Okay. Okay. Now, in this particular, now we are going to talk about positive influence of the girls on the classroom environment. Now, we have been speaking about a few things that we know that if girls are there in the class, there are some more benefits. To know what are the benefits that the teacher really perceives and why? And is it right for us to say so? Now, if there are more girls in the classroom, it leads to, now this is based on a few studies that have come up in different countries in the last 2 years. Now, they say that there is less classroom disruption.
Yes,
There
ma'am.
is better relationship between the students and the teacher. Now, this is not really, why is there less disruption? Because girls are supposed to be very, sober and patient and more, they have better concentration level and they are more serious minded, they're more motivated to listen to what the teacher is saying. Whereas as Nirmala just said, the boys are, eager to make a little more noise, they are more mischievous. So that way you could say there is less classroom disruption. So this is by and large a statement which we may agree with. And there's better relationship between the students and the teacher. Now, how do we justify this statement? Can you all tell me?
Yes, ma'am. If
How can there be better relationship between teachers, within the teacher and the students if there are more girls in the class?
yes, ma'am. If more girls in the classroom, then the girls have some aesthetic sense like painting skills, drawing skills, and handicrafts. They shows more skills than boys, right? So they can help the teacher to make some teaching aids like
Charts and all.
by using by using their drawing skills and painting skills rather than boys. But yeah, a teacher is so beneficial with the boys too, because if she has more boys, then the boys can show the interest in the some other works like going to the other classroom, asking something. They shows interest in this matter. Then
Okay.
the teacher will be beneficial with both boys and the girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the third one which I've written here is teachers are less tired in classrooms with more girls. This is a very contentious statement. Now I don't know how many of you will agree, how many of you will disagree. So now we have to justify this statement. Can we do it or can we not? Why are teachers less tired in classrooms with more girls?
Yes, ma'am, because that students listen to teachers. Boys, they don't listen teachers' words. So they more irritate us. They more play with teachers. But girls, they are not like that. They used to be very calm and they used to be listen teachers what exactly teachers says. So and also they help to the teachers. This point you missed, ma'am, and this thing. But boys, if we miss one thing, they are very happy. Teacher once skipped, it's okay. But girls, they don't think like that.
Okay. Any other response to this?
Yes, ma'am. Maintenance of the classroom will be good when a teacher have the more girls in the classroom, because by maintenance of the classroom, while discipline, when comparing with the boys, girls will be have more discipline. Then at the same time, they'll be helping in every aspect for the teacher.
Okay, so we are voting for the girls. Okay. Okay. Now pupils overall seem to be more satisfied with the high female to male ratio. This is one of the another thing that has come out of the studies. Now overall, all in the class, the boys in a class of boys and girls, even the boys seem to be happy when there are more girls. But this is natural, I think. I mean, even this is something which we find in most classes. So there's not something really to that seems to be something which we don't agree with. If there are girls, I think even the boys are happier. That is what is my personal experience too. Mahinder, you would like to, Anand, would you like to? The men could reply to this.
Yes, ma'am, compulsory. If a class has a number of girls, right? Taking an example of me, if in my class there are a number of girls, and we'll be a little bit colorful and we'll be happy, right? Treating each other. And one doubt, actually, all the teachers said that that's really a false statement. I don't agree with that. That having the girls' classroom makes the class so quiet and disciplined. Aren't some boys are so disciplined, ma'am? It totally depends upon the teachers, ma'am. How the teacher receive them, how the teacher keep them alone, and how the teacher treat them. It depends upon the ma'am. All upon it depends upon teacher. If in the house the mother treats the both the boy child and the girl child equally, why can't the teacher treat the same, ma'am? Always the teacher goes friend for the girls and keeping the boys and giving a harsh punishment for the boys, and then very little punishment for the girls. This is the point where the teacher starts, ma'am. This is the place where the teacher only starts the discrimination, ma'am. If they say to kneel down for a boy, for a girl, they won't give a punishment. They just slap and they just leave it down. And I don't accept that, ma'am. It's a really false one. But I'm really happy that if there are a number of girls in the class, really boys also attend the class, and the class will be like a good, friendly atmosphere, ma'am.
Right.
Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Right. Good. Now, boys and girls may learn differently. This is something which is their inherent. It's an attitude. New studies have found that girls improve boys' grades at school. If there are more girls, even the boys academically excel in what they are doing. Because, see, look at it this way. There is peer pressure. The boy wants to show off to his friend, his girlfriend, that, see, even I'm good in my maths, I'm also good in my English. Whereas if the girl is getting higher percentage of marks, the boy also feels, I too should do well. So it may be kind of a peer pressure with the boys and the girls. Now, what do you all have to say to this?
Yes, ma'am, definitely it happens, but at the stage of adolescence, when they enter into the 9th and 10th standard, then definitely it happens.
And what about the junior classes for the primary and middle school? What do you feel?
At the primary level, it doesn't happen. But at the primary level means at the stage of 6th and 7th classes, when they're entered into the teenage, then it happens.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
But not in primary also nowadays they are learning when girls are coming first, boys are not getting their వాట్ దే విల్ సే మీన్స్ గర్ల్స్ మాత్రమే ఫస్ట్ వస్తున్నారు, అదే మనం కూడా నేర్చుకుని మనం కూడా గర్ల్స్ కన్నా ముందు తెచ్చుకోవాలనే ఫీలింగ్ కొద్దిగా కూడా బాయ్స్ కి ఉంటుంది మేడం, నేను అనుకుంటున్నాను. వాళ్ళకి అప్రిషియేషన్ చేసి బాయ్స్ కి చేయలేదనుకో వాళ్ళకి కూడా కొద్దిగా ఫీలింగ్ అనిపించేస్తుంది, అమ్మో గర్ల్స్ కి వస్తుంది బాయ్స్ కి రావట్లేదు అని. ఆ ఫీలింగ్ తో కూడా వాళ్ళు నేర్చుకునే అవకాశాలు ఉన్నాయి అనుకుంటున్నాను ప్రైమరీలో కూడా.
So the boys also want to do well in the class.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that means all in all, the girls have a positive influence on the boys, isn't it? And on the class also. This is what we can kind of deduce. Maitri, next slide, please. Okay. Now there are a few more statements here which we will analyze. Classes with more girls result in better exam results. Now this is the same more or less as, you know, boys would like to excel better because even there are girls also in the class because of the peer pressure kind of thing. As Nirisha just said, that if the girl is doing well, the boy also, even at the primary level, wants to do well. Okay, now boys with more girls in their classes show higher enrollment in both advanced maths and science classes. How far is this true? Tell me. Now see, generally, yeah, please go
Yes,
on.
ma'am.
And please
For the
introduce
first
yourself
one.
because I can't
Yes,
see
ma'am. It's me, Kalpana.
Yeah, Kalpana.
Kalpana, yes, ma'am. For the first one, when classes with more girls result in better exams results. But no, ma'am, I don't think it's so, because girls have the memory power more, and the boys at the same time boys have the more grasping power. When we comes for the results, the girls and the boys will achieve same result. If we have the more girls in the class, that means we can't achieve the better result, because boys have the more grasping power when comparing with the girls. So I don't think so the first one is correct.
Okay.
So and the second one also I don't accept this one.
Okay.
Then third one is
so do you think that boys with more girls in their classes show higher enrollment in advanced maths and science?
I don't think so, ma'am.
No? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I don't think so.
If suppose the girls are taking they are getting into the stream of maths and science. So do you think even the boys are inclined to take that because of that?
Earlier it was there, ma'am. Earlier more boys used to take maths, and girls opt for the science. When we are in the
now how do you think it is now?
But at present, more maths class also, even math subject also, girls are opting the maths, and at the same time boys also are opting for the science.
Okay.
So they are equally opting for the maths and science.
Opting. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So that is the change in the trend we see as to what it was earlier and what it is now. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you see the primary school classrooms with more girls show increased academic success. In middle school, girls are found to have better academic achievement in English, language, and maths. English and languages is fine. I mean, that is
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
But now even maths becomes a particular issue in the studies, that girls are excelling even in maths. So do you agree with this? Other girls used to shy away from maths earlier. Girls used to, you know, generally take arts and those kind of subjects, but now they are excelling even in science and maths. Okay, as we go along, we'll keep talking. Now, in the high school, the classrooms which have the best academic achievements overall are consistently those that have more girls. So this is something I think we'll all agree. Do we agree with this last sentence? Or is it that even the boys, what is generally the trend of the results you see comparing the girls and the boys at your school level? Is it that the girls outperform the boys, or is it that the boys and girls have equal kind of academic excellence they display, or is it that the girls are doing better than the boys? What do you all feel in your respective schools? You can give me a few examples.
Girls will do the better, madam.
Okay. Because result is better overall.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I
And-
think both, ma'am.
Pardon?
I think both, ma'am.
Both. Okay.
Yes. Both
So
give excellent. Yes, ma'am.
the students who are working hard generally do well. Okay.
Yes. ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Absolutely.
Sure. Now, Maitri, we go to the next slide. That's why I told you, started off with the premise that we have not written all correct sentences here. There are some sentences which are debatable and we need to discuss those things. Okay. Okay. Now this is something which I just wanted to talk to you all about very briefly, virtual learning environment. Now today we could not do a face-to-face session. So now we are sitting in our respective houses and we are talking to each other and interacting through the online virtual online through technology. Now in the coming days, the technology is progressing so much that very soon virtual learning environment where you have virtual reality technology will come into play. And many schools are going to also have this kind of feature. In the Western countries, it has already revolutionized many of the classrooms. So from few years from now, students in schools all over the world will receive part of the education in virtual learning environment. Now, why I'm talking about this is because even this requires teachers. We are not going to be dependent only on technology. Even a technology does need teachers. The human interface does come into play even here. So now teaching via the virtual reality technology is going to spread widely, and it's going to it is also going to revolutionize the way we learn. Now, things like wearing the VR goggles, the virtual reality goggles, the glasses which the people wear. With that, what happens is that you can travel into the bloodstream, see all the cells in the human body. You can travel deep down in the ocean and see the ocean life, the fishes and all the different plants that are growing there and the different sea animals and all that. So, sitting in one particular place in your classroom, wearing that particular goggles, it will save a lot of time and money for the institution, because you would not leave those, you will not need the laboratories, nor will you need those sophisticated kind of instruments or gadgets and all. Through this, we will be able to learn that virtual learning environment. You will be able to travel into that particular lesson, what we are learning, whether it's a bloodstream, whether it's the ocean. And in that way, this was going to help the students in future. Now, why we're talking about this virtual learning environment is because in this particular study I read about is that the boys learn best when their virtual teacher comes in the form of a drone. Drone, you all know that Zigbee, that
Yes.
particular UFO kind of a thing which comes, which takes the photographs of the
Yes.
landscape and all that. During the pandemic, you had the drone photography of Bombay and Hyderabad and all, and our cities were looking so beautiful, pollution free and all that. That was because of the drone. Now it has been also been found that girls will get more knowledge from virtual reality teaching when they're taught by a young female teacher. So that means, see, the boys are going to generally prefer an instrument, whereas the girls are going to still prefer a young female teacher to teach them about virtual reality. So would you like to just say something about this? Why do you think the girls still want a young lady teacher to teach them? Even they should be able to prefer a drone. But this is what has been found by a particular study. So I thought we could just discuss it, if you all want to say something. Yeah, yes, Nirmala.
Ma'am, really, my children, they love the female teachers to come because I think that they feel free near that a teacher. And the teacher also take care, loves, guides those children in such a way that they also should be like the teacher. Might be the teacher's inspiration, and might be the closeness between the teacher and the students. So for that reason, I think that children are very much interested with a female teacher's lecture or her teaching.
Okay. Okay.
I think.
That means human beings are always preferred to machines still. That is still something very heartening for all of us to know. Because
Yes.
machines will be replacing us everywhere, isn't it? So
So
they
Faruqi,
facilitate us and they help us in to this extent that sitting in our respective homes, we're able to chat with each other, talk to each other, learn, and at least our work is not stranded. Okay.
Professor
This was
Faruqi,
yeah,
if
yeah.
I may intervene, I just want to repeat it in Telugu.
Yeah,
So
sure.
everybody
Please,
understand.
Maitri.
Yeah. సో ప్రొఫెసర్ ఫారూకీ గారు ఇప్పుడు కరోనా టైమ్స్ ఇంకా కరోనా అయ్యాక కూడా చాలా స్కూల్స్ ఇప్పుడు ఆన్లైన్ డిజిటల్ టీచింగ్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఇప్పుడు మనం ఈ వర్క్ షాప్ లో ఎలా కూర్చున్నామో అలాగే క్లాస్ రూమ్స్ కూడా అంతా ఆన్లైన్ షిఫ్ట్ అవుతాయి. అలాంటి సిచ్యువేషన్ లో ఇది ఆల్రెడీ అమెరికా ఇంకా యూరోప్ లాంటి విదేశాల్లో చాలానే వాడుతున్నారు ఆన్లైన్ టీచింగ్. కానీ ఆన్లైన్ టీచింగ్లో ఒక టీచర్ రోల్ ఏంటో, ఒక టీచర్ రోల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్లో ఎంతలా టీచ్ చేస్తావో ఆన్లైన్ టీచింగ్లో కూడా అంతే ఇంపార్టెంట్గా ఉంటుంది. ఒక స్టడీ చూపించింది ఏంటంటే అబ్బాయిలు వర్చువల్ టీచర్ అంటే ఒక మనిషిలాగా కాకుండా ఒక డ్రోన్ లాగా టీచర్ వస్తే ఇంకా ఎంతూజియాజం చూపిస్తారు. కానీ గర్ల్స్ ఇంకా అటెంటివ్ గా ఒక యంగ్ టీచర్ వీడియో కాల్ మీద ఉండి నేర్పిస్తేనే చూపిస్తారు. ఇలాంటి డిఫరెన్సెస్ కూడా ఇప్పుడు మనం మారుతున్న కాలంలో, అంత టెక్నాలజీ వస్తున్న కాలంలో, అంత డిజిటల్ అవుతున్న కాలంలో ఇలాంటి చిన్న చిన్న డిఫరెన్సెస్ కూడా చాలా పెద్ద ఇంపాక్ట్ చేస్తాయి అబ్బాయిలకి అమ్మాయిల్ని ఎలా చూస్తారు క్లాస్ రూమ్ లో అనేది. దీని గురించి మీకు ఏమైనా చెప్పాలనుందా? మీరు ఇప్పుడు జూమ్ వాడుతూ క్లాసెస్ చేస్తున్నారు, వాట్సాప్ మీద అసైన్మెంట్స్ పంపిస్తున్నారు. మీ అభిప్రాయం, మీ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ లో ఇంకేమైనా చెప్పాలనుంటే ప్లీజ్ గో అహెడ్ అండ్ సే. Over to you, Professor.
Okay, thanks, Maitri. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now we are talking about Maitri. I think the headings have become a little different, but doesn't matter as long as we can read it. Okay, it's okay.
Is this better?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah. Now, no, even the arrows doesn't matter. We'll somehow manage that. The text is the same. Now we see here gender. We're talking about gender distribution in schools. Now, boys perform well in schools with a higher proportion of girls. This is what we have been discussing. Now, this is because girls outperform boys in many subjects. Now, these two sentences are interrelated. The girls have higher level of concentration. They are more motivated, so they perform well. Now, because of their performance is good, the boys also want to perform well. It is, because of the positive influence. So this is something which we all have noticed in our respective classrooms, in the schools or colleges. Even in colleges, we see the same kind of influence. Now, generally, girls are found to read more. Now, reading skills also are much more in girls than in boys. So, suppose a boy goes to a school where you have only boy students and all are not reading to the desired level, which the teacher expects them to read. So then in those schools, the male students do not have that much of reading ability, that much of reading skill they don't acquire. Whereas if they go to a co-educational school, they read more because the girls they see their girlfriend who is reading more. So, these are all positive influences which generally we see in the school, where you have mixed girls and boys sitting together in the class. Anything you all want to say about this? Any sentence which is not appearing logical to you all, or you all want to disagree with something, you're free to do it. Okay, so we go to the next slide, Maitri. Yeah, we're talking about gender differences in the classroom. Now, I think in your earlier classes, in your discussions with Aparna and with Usha and with Deepa, you all have spoken a lot about gender. And gender is generally, I've just written one definition kind of a thing. It's a social and cultural belief which we attach to being male or female. And this really makes the gender roles come up, which are patterns of behavior, attitude, and expectations associated with a particular sex. That is, a male is supposed to do something, a female is supposed to be something. This is, traditional kind of roles that have been assigned to men and to women. This is what is gender. Now, we are going to talk about gender differences in the classroom. Now, teachers are not the primary cause of gender role differences, but sometimes teachers influence them by their responses and choices. This is more important. This is what we are going to analyze. I've got some examples through which we will see how exactly that is happening. Now, Maitri, next slide. Okay. Now, there are physical differences. Now, in the physical differences, we see that boys are more active and girls are more restless. Oh, sorry, I mean boys are more active and restless than the girls. Okay, this is generally we see, because if the boys are made to sit for long periods of time, naturally the boys get, very irritated. They can't sit peacefully for 1 hour, whereas the girls sit patiently. That is something which we notice. Then they are more prone than girls to get physically aggressive if they are angry. Boys immediately they can slap the friend, or hit back or push someone. These are the normal features in a boy, in the boys. That puberty is a period of time in both boys and girls where physical changes occur in the body. Now, during puberty, boys generally shoot up. They become taller and they become stronger than the girls at an average. And that particular height, growth in height or their physique makes them better suited to certain sports. That is why, you find that those boys are generally going and playing out on the field, football or cricket and all that. It doesn't mean, like, as we remember in what Professor Shanta Sinha told us, there's no difference between girls and boys at all, except their reproductive organs. There's nothing else which is different. But during puberty, the kind of growth, physical growth that the boys acquire, naturally they physically they become a little better suited to that particular sport or a game. But it doesn't mean that the girls cannot play that sport or game. It's just that may be a reason why more boys get into those kind of cricket or whatever. Okay. Now, every teacher knows of individual boys who are not athletic, or of particular girls who are restless in class. So you can never generalize by saying that boys grow taller, stronger, so only they play sports. It may be true, but it is not always true. There are always exceptions, and girls also, because there are individual boys who don't want to play those games. They want to play a quiet carom board or, kho-kho, something like that. And there are also girls who are like boys, very boisterous. They also, want to push someone or fight with someone. Even that is there. So it's physical differences by and large are there in girls and boys, but there are exceptions, and girls and boys can be like each other even with their physical differences. Okay, Maitri, next slide. Now we're talking about social differences. Now, in the social differences, we see that when especially in their leisure time, when the boys are just sitting with their friends and all that, a group of boys are sitting. So whether it's on the playground or on the street or in the school, they take a lot of space. They occupy a lot of space, the boys. They put their arm around their friend like that, and they start laughing loudly, or they hit the boy like that. They're very good friends, but they all want to interact physically with each other. Whether it's school or playground is something which we all notice. Suppose 4 boys are standing. They laugh loudly, they talk loudly, all this. Whereas the girls generally very ladylike, very politely, not politely, sorry. They just, in a sober way, they stand with a few friends and they share their whatever conversation they have to with each other. Now, these differences can make girls less visible than boys. Why are we talking about these differences? Because the body language of the boys is more, it really shows, like they make their presence felt. that, you know, we are there, because through their laughter, through their talk or whatever they are doing, so they are more visible. Whereas the girls, since they are more sober, they become less visible than boys. But at the same time, we cannot say there are boys with close friends and who can sit quiet, and there are girls who can play in large groups also and be as noisy as boys. So there are always exceptions to the rule, and we are not to take it like absolutely sacrosanct that only the girls behave in a particular manner, only the boys behave in a particular manner. There is always something where they can take over. I mean, each other's characteristics can be exchanged in the particular groups. Okay? Is that clear? Anything?
అందరికీ అర్థమవుతోందా?
They're
Okay.
getting discouraged, ma'am. It's not clear.
Clear?
Maitri, could you please help me just in a nutshell talk about the space the boys occupy more space and the girls occupy, I mean, are more sober.
సో ప్రొఫెసర్ ఫారూక్ బేసిక్లీ ఏమంటున్నారంటే అబ్బాయిలు ఫిజికల్గా మారేది మాట్లాడారు. అంటే ఆబ్వియస్లీ అబ్బాయిలకి అమ్మాయిలకి మధ్యలో ఫిజికల్ డిఫరెన్సెస్, బాడీలో ఉన్న డిఫరెన్సెస్ ఉంటాయి. కానీ దానికన్నా మించింది ఆ డిఫరెన్సెస్ పెద్దగా తేడాలు చూపవు. కానీ దానికన్నా మించిన డిఫరెన్సెస్ ఏం చూపిస్తాయి అంటే సోషల్ డిఫరెన్సెస్. అంటే వాళ్ళు వాళ్ళ మధ్యలో ఎలా మాట్లాడతారు, ఎలా ప్రవర్తిస్తారు అనేది ఆ డిఫరెన్సెస్ చాలా మటుకు బయటికి వస్తాయి వాళ్ళ శారీరక తేడాల కన్నా. సో సోషల్ డిఫరెన్సెస్ లో ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే అబ్బాయిలు చాలా మటుకు పెద్ద గ్రూప్స్ లో తిరుగుతారు. ఇంకా అమ్మాయిలకి మామూలుగా ఇద్దరు ముగ్గురు క్లోజ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఉంటారు. సో అలా ఉన్నప్పుడు అబ్బాయిలు ఒక పెద్ద గ్రూప్ లో ఉన్నప్పుడు వాళ్ళు కనిపించేది ఎక్కువ. ఇప్పుడు మనం ప్లే గ్రౌండ్ మీదకి వెళ్ళినా అబ్బాయిలు ఒక గుంపులా ఆడుతుంటే వాళ్ళు ఎక్కువ కనిపిస్తారు. వాళ్ళు నవ్వినా, ఏదైనా ఎవరైనా ఏడిపించినా, లేకపోతే ఏదైనా చేసినా అబ్బాయిలు ఒక సోషల్ సెట్టింగ్, అంటే ఒక బయట సమాజంలో ఉన్న సెట్టింగ్ లో అబ్బాయిలు క్లాస్ రూమ్ బయట ఎక్కువ కనిపిస్తారు. కానీ అమ్మాయిలు కొంచెం క్వైట్ గా ఉండడం ములాంచో, లేకపోతే గ్రూప్ చిన్నగా ఉండడం ములాంచో ఎక్కువ కనిపించరు. దానివల్ల వాళ్ళ అబ్బాయిలకి అమ్మాయిలకి మధ్యలో ఉన్న ఇంటరాక్షన్ సామాన్యంగా అవ్వదు. ఎందుకంటే అబ్బాయిలు పెద్ద గ్రూప్స్ లో తిరుగుతారు కాబట్టి. ఈ దాన్ని మీరు ఒప్పుకోవచ్చు లేదా తప్పు అనొచ్చు. సో మీ అభిప్రాయాలు ఏంటో టీచర్స్ లాగా కొంచెం షేర్ చేస్తే ఇప్పుడే చెప్పండి. కొంచెం ఎవరికైనా ఏదైనా యాడ్ చేయాలనుందా? అంటే మీరు ఇలా కాదు, అబ్బాయిలు ఇలా ఉండరు, అమ్మాయిలు అలా ఉండరు అనాలనుందా, లేకపోతే దీంతో అగ్రీ చేయాలనుందా? షేర్ చేసేయండి.
Do boys make more noise if they are in one group, in a big group? Do you feel they are more noisy than girls?
Yes, I feel because boys always they make louder noise. Girls they express their feelings in words rather than physical action. That's why we feel boys are more noisy and more occupy the space wherever they are. But it is equal. Action reaction is equal among girls and boys. The way they exhibit is more visual for the boys.
So do you think that becomes the boys become more visible because of their actions than the girls?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
For example, we can take cricket, women cricket and male cricket. Both are cricket, and in both the same number of players are there. But when we watch women cricket, it's very quiet and not so motivating, or it doesn't allow us to shout or enjoy or express our this. Just we quietly enjoy. Whereas when men play the cricket, even women start shouting and expressing their happiness or whatever joy. So it's
Okay.
they are more expressive. That parents too encourage when they are very small, and
Okay.
even months baby also, when we observe girl and boys are more active That's how it's inborn, I feel.
And they cry louder also. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, anyway. Now, Maitri, the next slide. Sorry, please.
But we do notice one thing, that girls reach their body milestones much faster than the boys. So their physical maturity, adolescence hits by the time they're, 12, 13 years old. Boys tend to mature slightly later. So there is also that emotional maturity, I think, that girls have, and also their bodily maturity happens earlier. So that's another point.
Yeah, can I also just react to something?
Yeah, please, Usha.
Yeah, so right now I think ఇప్పుడు చెప్పారు కదా, ఇప్పుడు గర్ల్స్ క్రికెట్ ఆడేటప్పుడు క్వైట్ గా ఉంటారు స్టేడియంలో అని. దట్స్ బికాస్ క్రౌడ్ ఎవరు రావట్లేదు. ఇప్పుడు బాయ్స్ when the boys play స్టేడియంస్ ఫుల్ గా ఉంటాయి. గర్ల్స్ ఆడేటప్పుడు ఎవరు వెళ్ళి చూడట్లేదు. అందుకే మనకు బయట నుంచి చూస్తే అదేమో క్వైట్ గా అనిపిస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఈ వరల్డ్ కప్ జరిగింది కదా రీసెంట్ గా ఆస్ట్రేలియాలో ఫిబ్రవరిలో, అప్పుడు 80,000 పీపుల్ ఉండే గర్ల్స్ విమెన్స్ వరల్డ్ కప్ ఫైనల్లో. అప్పుడు సేమ్ ఎలా మెన్స్ క్రికెట్ లో ఎంత సపోర్ట్ వస్తుందో అంత సపోర్ట్ వచ్చింది. ఇప్పుడు సో ఐ డోంట్ థింక్ ఇట్స్ ద గేమ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ దట్ వీ డోంట్ go to support the girls as much. Sorry. Yeah.
No, right. Absolutely. Okay. Maitri we'll go further.
Yeah.
We'll skip the next. Yeah, we'll go to the next one because we've discussed this earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, attention paid by teachers. Now, generally, this is something again which I want you all to agree with or disagree with. Okay. Teachers interact with boys more than girls. This is a statement we are making. Now, why is it? It depends on the academic level of the students and or the personality of the teacher. Why is it that the teachers interact with boys more than girls? Is it true or not? First, we'll read all, and then I think you all can give your opinion. One possible reason for the difference is greater assertiveness of boys. If the boys speak up more, if boys speak up more in discussions or at other times, then a teacher may be forced to pay attention to them. So the boy, what they're doing is they're actually demanding the attention from the teacher, because the teacher needs to enforce discipline in the class, needs to keep everyone in control. If the boys are making a lot of noise, then the teacher needs to make them quiet also. Or if the boys are, asking a lot of questions, the teacher needs to, keep talking to them also. Yeah, Hepsi has raised her hand.
Hepsi garu.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
So, actually, I agree with this.
You agree with which one? That
teachers more interact with boys more than with girls.
Okay. Now you give your reasons. Why do you think?
Because mostly girls కి గ్రాస్పింగ్ పవర్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది అండ్ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది. బాయ్స్ కి ఏంటంటే డిఫరెంట్ మైండ్ సెట్ కాబట్టి, సో క్లాస్ లో ఏదైనా డిస్టర్బెన్స్ రాగానే సంథింగ్ వాట్ యు కెన్ సే,
తెలుగులోనే చెప్పండి పర్వాలేదు.
తొందరగా వాళ్ళు డైవర్ట్ అయిపోతారు వేరే టాపిక్ కి కానీ వేరే విజువల్ కి కానీ. సో అందుకని టీచర్స్ ఎక్కువ ఇంటరాక్ట్ అయ్యేది బాయ్స్ తో, ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళకి ఎక్కువ టైం తీసుకోవాలి. దే కెన్ అండర్స్టాండ్, దే కెన్ టేక్ మోర్ టైమ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్. సో గర్ల్స్ ఏంటంటే ఒకరికి వచ్చిందంటే దే హెల్ప్ ఈచ్ అదర్. సో అందుకని నేను అలా అనుకుంటున్నాను.
Because that means the boys you're trying to say are more mischievous, more naughty. So the teacher may need to interact more with them to keep them focused on the work. Is it?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
And whereas the girls have a higher level of concentration, higher level of motivation, and they're more serious minded, so they don't need that much of control the way a teacher needs to keep control over the boys.
Yes, strongly. అంటే 100% అని కాదు, ఎందుకంటే మోస్ట్లీ గర్ల్స్ కి ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది. నేను చూసిన గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్లో చెప్తున్నాను. సో గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్ కి రిలేటెడ్ అయితే ఎక్కువ గర్ల్స్ కే ఉంటుంది అనమాట, గ్రాస్పింగ్ పవర్ కానీ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ కానీ. సో దాన్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని నేను బాయ్స్ కి కొంచెం ఎక్కువ టైం తీసుకుంటాం. సో మా క్లాస్ లో కూడా అదే జరుగుతుంది. గర్ల్స్ కి కొంచెం తక్కువ టైం తీసుకుంటాము, వాళ్ళు తొందరగా అర్థం చేసుకుంటారు. బట్ అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం బాయ్స్ కొంచెం లాంగ్ టైం తీసుకుంటారు అండ్
Okay.
ఇండివిజువల్ గా చెప్పాల్సి వస్తుంది గ్రూప్ లో డిస్కస్ చేయడం కన్నా.
So you mean boys have lesser grasping power than girls, you feel?
నో అలా అని
Or
కాదు.
they're not so alert? Or are they not so alert? They don't concentrate in the class like
Yeah.
the girls. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Anyone would like to say something about these?
It may not be the same, ma'am. Even the girls, some of the girls also, they may not be alert. They may not be alert. The girls, in fact, they may talk with each other a lot, or they may pretend to be alert or pretend to concentrate, and they might be doing something else in the class also.
Okay,
It's not essential that maybe because the boys are more as you said, they are more visible, we try to drag their attention and try to focus on them more.
Okay. So should we go further in our presentation?
వసంత లక్ష్మి గారు మీరు ఏదైనా చెప్పదలుచుకున్నారా? మ్యూట్ లో ఉన్నారండి, అన్మ్యూట్ చేయండి. చెప్పండి.
నేను 5th క్లాస్ తెలుగు మీడియం చెప్తున్నాను. సేమ్ మా క్లాస్ లో కూడా గర్ల్స్ ఎక్కువ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ చేస్తారు. బాయ్స్ ఏమో ఏదో డిస్కస్ చేయడము, ఏదో చెప్పుకోవడము, వాళ్ళల్లో వాళ్ళు మాట్లాడుకోవడం, కొంచెం వాళ్ళకి ఎక్కువ పట్టించుకోవాల్సి వస్తుంది క్లాస్ లో చెప్పేటప్పుడు, లెసన్ టీచింగ్ చేసినప్పుడు కానీ, వేరేది మ్యాథ్స్ చెప్పేటప్పుడు కానీ వాళ్ళని మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ పిలవడం, వింటున్నారా, అర్థమైందా, మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ అడగడం అనేది ఎక్కువ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ చేయవలసి వస్తుంది బాయ్స్ కి.
Okay.
Salma ma'am, I'm sorry to get back to the previous point because I could not unmute at that time.
No, please continue. Please carry on.
Can I?
Yes,
because
please.
I was throughout my education, I studied in a girls school and girls college. So I feel that even all the girls, they were more louder, not sober and all that. They used to comment on the lecturers and the teachers, and they too were loud enough.
But you mean, but you were in a girls' college, right?
Yeah,
girls' school.
School and girls' college. Girls throughout.
Okay. So now suppose, imagine a situation where your college became a co-educational college. Then in that respect, maybe the girls' loud talk and behavior may have seemed a little lesser than boys. I don't know. I'm just trying to put across a view to you. So anyway.
So I have an interesting, I'll change to my video. Yeah, I have an interesting experience as well. So as long as I was up to 10th and in 12th, I was in a girls school, girls college. And when I joined engineering, it was co-ed. But I think the girls who were there, we were fewer girls, but we had the most notorious group because we I think felt free to shout and be under the trees and miss classes and all that, which maybe we got used to it doing it in girls school and college. Once we reached engineering, it was just continuing of the similar behavior. So but I did feel that if I had been in a co-ed from the time I was young, how I would react to boys or how I would interact with them, I would have learned much earlier. It would have been nice to learn much earlier. It didn't stop me from doing things, but I think, we do see that a lot of parents feel that, if they're only in a girls' school and only in a boys' school, there's a certain, very different way that the girls tend to grow. So
I share your views, Srilata, because I was as notorious, as much and in a co-ed institution, me and my friends who were girlfriends were more notorious than the boys. And everyone says that. So it's there are always exceptions. Okay. Yeah. Anyone, who's that? Then otherwise, Maitri will go to the next slide.
Okay.
Now this is Maitri. The slide, I mean, the matter has gone down. I don't know where, but anyway, yeah, doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. Okay. Now we're talking about praise and criticism. Now, how do teachers dole out praise and criticism to students in a particular class? Now, most teachers want to be fair to all the students, but they sometimes praise or criticize boys and girls differently. Now, why is it? We'll first read and then we will try and assess why does it happen? Or is it right in the teachers praising and criticizing boys and girls separately? The tendency is to praise boys more than girls for displaying knowledge correctly, but to criticize girls more than boys for displaying knowledge incorrectly. Teachers tend to overlook wrong answers with boys, but with girls they tend to overlook right answers. And the result is boys' knowledge seems more important and boys themselves more competent. It also makes girls' knowledge less visible and girls themselves less competent. So now this is something which is very, something which is debatable. So let us see, is it true or not? Now, what is your experience in your respective class? If you all can give me some examples from your classes. Suppose a girl answers something correctly. Do you pat her back as much as you would do it for a boy? Or is it that if a boy answers correctly, you praise him a little more than the girl? And is it at any point of time we make the girls feel as if their knowledge, what they are projecting, is not as important as the knowledge or the content projected by the boy? Are we giving more importance to the appearance value of rather than the content of the work of the boys and girls? So just give me your views on this, please.
Both of them
Can I
are
have-
praised.
Yes.
Go ahead. Please.
Yeah.
No, I was, once you finish up, ma'am, can I have people like Balamani, Rajini, Navanita, please respond to this question. We would like to hear your reviews, please.
రాజేశ్వరి గారు మాట్లాడండి.
మీరు మాట్లాడండి.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is, I mean, the praise or the punishment, it does not, depend on the gender. We don't, at least, we praise the boys or the girls equally. Or punish them.
Okay.
Hello?
Shall I?
Boys or girls are equal. Punishing or appreciating, those are equal.
Okay.
Shall I, ma'am?
Yeah, please.
According to me, it is not criticizing the children actually. If the students are not active, if any gender is not active, to encourage them, teacher uses why these people are not at all participating equal to them. Like the teacher uses, but this is not the criticizing. Just teacher want to make the participate equal, all the gender equally.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Funny question.
Ma'am, shall I?
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Nirmala.
Ma'am, for boys and girls, it is equally criticized. The teacher criticizes equally, whereas when the girls or the boys, those who never give answer, when they give answer and in that particular times, then that is my responsibility to pat them for giving the answers and inculcate confidence that they have to answer more and more to the questions which the teacher asks.
Okay.
And for the third question, I think, ma'am, and I never ask only the boys the questions or only the girls questions. I randomly take the numbers so that they will know discrepancy between the boys and the girls. So I will take like that and I'll call their numbers so that in such a way they'll stand up and they'll answer.
Okay.
So I will be not act impartial in those activities.
Professor Farooq, if I may add something.
Yeah, who's speaking? Who's
Maitri.
speaking here?
Maitri. Maitri.
Yeah.
నిర్మల గారు మీరు చెప్పిన దాన్ని బట్టి మీరు ఎక్కువ మాట్లాడిన వాళ్ళు లేకపోతే క్లాస్లో ఎక్కువ ఇంటరాక్ట్ చేయని వాళ్ళని ప్రేస్ చేస్తారు టీచర్స్ జెండర్ డిఫరెన్సెస్ లేకుండా అన్నారు. కానీ ఈ స్లైడ్ ని ప్రీవియస్ స్లైడ్స్ తో కనెక్ట్ చేస్తే ప్రీవియస్ స్లైడ్స్ లో మనం అందరం అగ్రీ చేసింది ఏంటంటే అబ్బాయిలు తక్కువ కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ చేస్తారు క్లాస్ లో, అబ్బాయిలు తక్కువ రెస్పాండ్ చేస్తారు, అమ్మాయిలు ఎక్కువ కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ చేసి ఎక్కువ రెస్పాండ్ చేస్తారు. నా ఈ రెండు ఫ్యాక్ట్స్ ని టుగెదర్ పెట్టి చూస్తే ఒకవేళ అబ్బాయిలు అంతలా ఆన్సర్ చేయరు కాబట్టి వాళ్ళు ఆన్సర్ చేస్తే వాళ్ళని ప్రేస్ చేయడంలో ఒకవేళ అబ్బాయిల్ని ఎక్కువ ప్రేస్ చేస్తున్నారా అనేది క్వశ్చన్. అంటే అది మనం కావాలని చేయట్లేదని కాదు, అలా అవుతుందా క్లాస్ రూమ్ లో అనేది.
అట్లా ఎంకరేజ్ చేస్తున్నాం మేడం, వాళ్ళని కూడా క్లాస్ స్ట్రీమ్ లోకి తీసుకురావడానికి మనం ఆ విధంగా ఎంకరేజ్ చేస్తున్నాం అండి. కొన్నిసార్లు, నాట్ ఆల్ ద టైమ్స్ మ్యామ్.
కానీ మీరు
మ్యామ్, it's just a motivation for the boys actually. It's not the criticizing on it's just giving the motivation for the boys, those who sit calm,
those who are not answering regularly.
Ma'am, I have a different question. Is there a case where there are girls who don't answer and then once in a while suddenly come up and answer? How do you encourage them? Not boys, let's say it's a girl. Normally she's very quiet and then you ask a question, one day she answered. So do you encourage them in a similar way?
Yes ma'am.
You have to encourage them more, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have an experience. Can I share it with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay ma'am. I'm having in the previous 10th class, one of my student Kavita is there. Kavita was there. She was my student. She never opens her mouth. She is very much interested in singing as well as in dancing, and she used to participate in that. But I always encourage her, along with these co-curricular activities, please beta study well. So in that way we have encouraged her ma'am. And personally we asked her to come, and if there are any doubts for her, you kindly come and ask us. So in that way, during the intervals, during the lunch time, and during the evening time, even after her 10th class sessions, class subject class will be taken for 1 hour. After that she used to remain, and even I used to remain for her. She used to come to me, she gets the doubts cleared, then she used to go ma'am. In that way she got interest in that at the end. Last previous 3 months onwards, really she worked hard ma'am. And that encouragement we have seen in the past 4 exams they have conducted in the 10th class, preparatory exams. So in those preparatory exams, really she did miracles, magic. In that way we encourage her ma'am.
Nice to hear that.
ఇంకెవరైనా మాట్లాడతారా? బాలమణి గారు లేకపోతే పుష్పలత గారు?
Ma'am. Maitri, there is the next slide also is a little bit of continuation of this. Then we'll let, yeah. Here I would just like to focus on the second point, is that girls are generally, praised by teachers if they're, because they're quiet and they're very good and, sitting in their place in a disciplined manner. So does it make their academic competence seem lesser than boys? Suppose the boys are praised for their academic content of their work and a girl is praised for her behavior. So does it mean that the girl is not academically so sound like the boy? I want you all to reflect on this. It is like behavior of the girls in the class versus the academic competence of the boys and girls in the class. So does it mean, if the teacher shows a little more, towards the girl, if the teacher shows that the girl is sitting quietly and is well behaved, and the teacher shows more indulgence for this kind of for her behavior, so does it mean that the girl is not academically competent? I think I'm able to put my point across effectively. Because generally we find some places teachers praise girls for their good behavior, whether it has any relevance to the lesson. See, what the teacher has to really focus on in class is the lesson. Whether it's a boy or girl responding, it doesn't matter. But if the teacher is praising the girls for their behavior and is reprimanding the boys for their inappropriate behavior, same way, if the teacher, so does it make the girls appear more good than the boys, and does it make the boys seem academically more competent than the girls? We are only trying to be judgmental here and try to see how exactly what all kind of responses can come up in a class. I told you I've written lot of wrong sentences here, wrong statements purposely, because we all need to debate and discuss and come to and give our own point of views. So does a teacher ever in a class try to feel that a boy's academic knowledge is of a higher value than a girl's academic knowledge? It is behavior versus academic competence here. What do you all feel? No.
ప్రొఫెసర్ ఫారూక్ అడుగుతున్న క్వశ్చన్ లో 2 క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఆ రెండింటి కనెక్షన్ ఏంటో అడుగుతున్నారు వాళ్ళు. ఆవిడ ఏమందంటే, ఇప్పుడు అమ్మాయిలు ఇంకా క్లాస్ లో క్వైట్ గా ఉంటారు, వింటారు చెప్పే మాట, కానీ అబ్బాయిలు లౌడ్ గా ఉంటారు, చాలా నాటీగా ఉంటారు అనేది డిస్కస్ చేసాం. ఇది వాళ్ళ బిహేవియర్, వాళ్ళ ప్రవర్తన. ఇదే అమ్మాయిలు అబ్బాయిలు అకాడమిక్ గా ఎలా పర్ఫామ్ చేస్తున్నారో అనే దాని మధ్య కనెక్షన్ ఏమైనా ఉందా? అమ్మాయిలు బాగా పర్ఫామ్ చేస్తున్నారా లేకపోతే అబ్బాయిలు బాగా పర్ఫామ్ చేస్తున్నారా అనేది వాళ్ళ క్లాస్ రూమ్ ప్రవర్తన మీద ఏమైనా కనెక్షన్ ఉందా? Mr. Farooq, am I right in articulating that?
Yeah, it is just that we are trying to juxtapose behavior versus academic competence. So does this behavior and academic competence, does it come in a teacher's mind when they are looking at respective boy and girl students separately?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
Behavior అంటే సైలెంట్ గా ఉండడమా క్లాస్ లోని, లేకపోతే అంటే మేనర్డ్ గా ఉండడమా? What is exactly?
Good behavior, sitting disciplined in a disciplined way in the class. And bad behavior is like being unruly, making noise, and not being obedient in the class.
Not being obediently, the boy was quite good in academics. Is it that?
Yeah, this is what I'm asking you.
అలాంటి కనెక్షన్ ఉందా అనేది?
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely connection ఉంటుంది. నేను తెలుగులో చెప్తాను.
ప్లీజ్.
క్లాస్ లో ఎట్లా అంటే పిల్లలు ఎప్పుడు వాళ్ళ అటెన్షన్ సీకర్స్ అన్నమాట. వెదర్ వాళ్ళు అకాడమిక్ గా బాగున్నా సరే, లేకపోతే సైలెంట్ గా వెల్ బిహేవియర్డ్ అన్నా, లేకపోతే వెల్ డ్రెస్డ్ అన్నా, వెల్ గ్రూమ్డ్ అన్నా, అన్ని విధాలా వాళ్ళు అటెన్షన్ సీక్ చేయాలని చూస్తారు టీచర్స్ నుంచి. ఇవి రెండు కనెక్షన్ ఎట్లా ఉంటాయంటే పిల్లల్లోని, ఎవరైతే ఎక్కువగా ఫోకస్డ్ గా టీచర్ కి అట్రాక్టెడ్ గా డే 1 నుంచి ఉంటారో వాళ్ళు మోర్ అండ్ మోర్ ట్రై చేస్తూనే ఉంటారు. ఎవరైతే డే 1 నుంచి బ్యాక్వర్డ్ అయిపోతారు ఇట్లాంటి ఇమేజ్ సంపాదించుకోవడానికి టీచర్ దగ్గర, వాళ్ళు ఏంటంటే కొంచెం నెగ్లెక్టెడ్ గా ఉంటారు. అట్లాగే బిహేవియర్ లోని నెగ్లెక్ట్ గా, తర్వాత అకాడమిక్స్ లో కూడా స్లో డౌన్ అయిపోతారు. డెఫినెట్లీ రెండింటి మధ్యన కనెక్షన్ ఉంటుంది. ఎప్పుడైతే వాళ్ళ మీద టీచర్ యొక్క ఫోకస్ ఉంటుందో అప్పుడు వాళ్ళు అకాడమిక్స్ లో కూడా ముందుకు రావడానికి చాలా ఛాన్సెస్ ఉంటాయి.
Okay. So then should we move to the, any more responses here?
Yeah. Madam, Farooqi madam, here.
Yeah, Rajeshwari.
What I feel is a teacher should not be judgmental. I mean behavior or considering the judgmental or the ability, his ability. So a teacher, a child at one point of time, he may behave badly, but academically he's in a better, he's intelligent, or he's able to perform better. Or at times he may not, the same child, his behavior might change and he may be academically poor. So a teacher should not be judgmental. That's what I feel. I experienced few children who were judged to be very poor in their studies, and still they continue the negative criticism of the teacher, it ruin the child's life.
Okay, that's very right what you are saying, because it is such an impressionable age for the young minds that, you know, one wrong statement here and there, it does have a negative impact on the mind of.
He's waste or she's waste, she's good for nothing, she can't perform better. So these are all the negative statements which should be avoided.
Fine. Okay, now we'll go to the next. We are, I think, running a little late, so we'll go to the next slide. Now, this is little important, I thought, because gender splitting in class. Now, this is, we should relate ourselves to the first two slides, the two pictures we had seen. Schools often treat boys and girls as though they are different species. Okay, many teachers welcome their students by saying, "Good morning, boys and girls." So in some kindergarten classes, children count the number of girls present each day and then do the same for the boys. Some teachers assign classroom or lunchroom seats in a boy-girl alternating order. Some set up good-natured competitions such as, you know, boys versus the girls. Now, these things we do see in classrooms happening. Let me go to the next slide and then we'll talk about it because of our time factor. Maitri has just sent a little message that we have half an hour. So some teachers send all the girls, then all the boys to the assembly. Physically stressful activities are not given to girls while boys play the rough and tough games. Teachers ask for a couple of strong boys to lift a heavy bench. I think sometimes at some point of time we have done this. Some point of time, if there's a girls and boys in the classroom, if there's something to be lifted, we may not tell the girls come and lift it, we'll tell the stronger boys. And even when tasks are assigned in the classroom, most girls, like, you know, generally they do little girly type of drawings, like flower patterns in the sand, while the boys are running back and forth playing some rough tough games. So now we'll discuss this. What do you feel? What do you feel about these things? Is it that when we when we talk to the girls and boys regarding any competition, is it that it is like all the girls versus the boys? If it's an elocution competition or any poetry recitation, if there are two teams to be formed, do we make those teams on the basis of girls and boys, gender? How do we address the students in the morning? Good morning, students, or do we say good morning, boys and girls? Do we first count, you know, first the girls should go to the assembly in the line and then the boys have to go? So now I'm just throwing up some things to you all and I want you all to respond to this. How do you think, like, you know, we are making use of the terms girls and boys in the classroom? In these activities, I'm not saying that this is something we're doing consciously, but subconsciously many a teacher somehow does this in the class in the schools. So what do you all have to respond?
So Salma, what you're saying is they talk to the girls and then they talk to the boys, but they don't necessarily talk to all the students.
No. While forming any group for a competition, it is like girls, it is on the basis of gender.
Gender, right.
Gender.
Right.
It's girls versus, but they do it very subconsciously, not purposely at all. At the same time, now, suppose you have to go to the assembly in the morning, to the assembly room. Come on, all the girls form a line, and then the boys can follow.
Yeah.
You know, these kind of things. Or you know,
definitely, I have seen that. For example, in if there is a bench to be brought, or any sir, I mean, for example, in MG Nagar school, it's only up to 5th class, but the sir or the ma'am will say, "Boys, come, I want you to carry this bench here." So it is only a 9 or 10-year-old boy. It's not like he's any heavyweight or much older, but they will call the boys and say, "You carry this." So I have definitely seen the carrying thing is given to boys from a young age itself.
కొంచెం మాట్లాడిన వాళ్ళు మాట్లాడతారా? నవనీత గారు, రేణుక గారు, భార్గవి గారు. చెప్పండి, పేరు చెప్పి మాట్లాడండి.
So So, you know, what we're really doing is when we're talking about boys and girls specifically in the class, by assigning them the specific tasks, or, you know, a competition based on the, making the separate groups based on gender, we are automatically trying to draw the attention of the children or the students towards a man, woman, boy, and girl. So suppose, so this is taking away really the development of the personality development and the skill development of the students. Because we are assigning them specific roles. Like Srilata said, even I have done that. Even I do the same. If I see like little children, young boys who are sturdy, I would not tell a young girl to lift a bench. I will tell the boy, can you help me do this? So, you know, why do we do this? We're doing it subconsciously, but we are doing it. So I just want you all to reflect upon these kind of things, which maybe we can avoid through a conscious effort in future. Responses? Yeah, I need some responses, please.
రజని గారు మీరు మాట్లాడొచ్చు. చెప్పండి. Okay, I think the connection is bad.
Okay, so what we'll do, Maitri.
Yes, Professor.
Yeah, Maitri will go to not the next slide. Yeah, after that, psychologists recommend. No, psychology. Yeah. In this weekend, then let us then from here just try and see how we can change this trend. Okay, this is something which we all do, or we see that it's being done. So the organization of a classroom should be on a little different note. Now, when you form groups, or when we form them, there are, you know, membership of those groups should keep changing. How? Now, examples, what psychologists have given is, I found this very relevant, is that children who are learning about the month of the year could be asked to line up according to their birthdays. Instead of saying the girls first, you know, move on and then the boys. So, you know, you choose another criteria, such as we all are learning about January, February, March, April. You know, the children who are learning about the months, according to your birthdays, make a line. So it would mean girls and boys together. So there is no gender involved in making the queue or the separate group. Same way, if you want to form a group, you can say all the children whose shoes have buckles, laces, or Velcro. So, you know, you have 3 groups. All the children are wearing shoes. So you have children with buckles, children with laces, children with Velcro on their shoes. This could be one way of forming a group. So these are the kind of new group formation kind of things which can be experimented in class, rather than making the boys and the girls, dividing them for the competitions or for the different tasks they have to do in the class according to the gender.
Should I move to the next slide?
Yeah, next slide, and then we'll come to the. Okay, now the psychologists also continue to make these recommendations that the teacher should avoid making statements such as, the girls have done a good job, the boys need to be a bit quieter. This will help children concentrate on their identity as students rather than as members of a gender group. Now, teachers should also encourage girls to be physically adventurous. For example, see, we all see if there are, you know, young girls going and playing on the slide or anything, we as teachers say, be careful, don't go there. Like, you know, we don't want the girl to fall. We are not that careful with a boy, because we feel if he falls, if he gets hurt, he will be able to deal with it. The girl is little more delicate. She needs to be supported more. So, you know, these are things which we do subconsciously, which we are to avoid. So what the psychologists in these studies have recommended is that be equally free with the girls. Tell them to climb that slide or that particular whatever high area and come down. And even if they get hurt, so what? If the boy's hurt the wound can heal, even the girl's wound can heal. So, you know, you have to allow the girl that freedom to climb, fall, run, get hurt in the bargain, and also she will also recover like the boy. Same way, there are boys who need that emotional touch. It's not that only the girls need the emotional touch. So, be emotionally and verbal, like with the boys, make the eye contact, cuddle them, fondle them, talk about the feelings, or, read out books to them. It's not that boys don't need the emotional support. It's not that only the girls need the emotional support. So these are things where, we feel that boys and girls both really need to be treated at par, totally. And we are not to provide that extra safety element or extra being careful with the girls than with the boys. I'm sorry, I'm rushing through some things, but I have just 15 minutes left, I think. So now if you all would like to say something in a few lines here, we will take your responses, and then we'll go to analyzing a few textbook pages which I've got from the Telangana government state textbooks. Anyone's response, please, on this, on how groups can be made in the class other than gender? Okay. Okay, if there are no responses, I know it may have got a little long now. So now we'll go to, can I proceed with analyzing the textbook pages? Can I just carry, no, Maitri, go back to the first, yeah, go, no, next one.
Okay.
21, yeah, okay. Now, here I would just like to give you a little brief. See, when gender audit became necessary by the NCERT, when the Nirbhaya rape case took place in Delhi. At that time, the Prime Minister's office gave a specific direction to the Ministry of the Human Resource Development, which is now known as the Ministry of Education, that textbook curriculum in schools and colleges, especially in schools, has to be reviewed, and it should be seen, it has to be analyzed whether it is found to be gender inclusive or not. Then you had one Justice Verma committee which also sat and said that the young minds right from school have to be sensitized to the gender element, where this young boys and girls should understand how women, the role of women and girls is important, the equality and equity. Both these features have to figure. So when the NCERT took this job upon themselves, they realized that environmental studies textbook in standard 3rd was very gender inclusive, but the examples in many of the books were wrong, in the sense that they were focusing on the traditional roles of the women and and they were also like trying to keep the women confined to the house in these examples. For example, in one, there was a boy flying a kite, whereas the girls were just looking at the kite, looking at the boy flying the kite. In another example, the women were doing all the household work and the men were doing their professional jobs. In yet another example, it was shown that in an English book, I think, of the standard 3rd, it was shown that the boys were reading books, whereas the girls were engaged in a conversation with each other. So, it was generally found that the examples being used are not projecting the women and the girls in a proper light or with equality, the way the boys and the men were being projected, though the text by and large was gender inclusive. So this is why then a whole exercise was done. Whereas the mathematics textbook was found to have one example which was worthy of being noted. That is, it spoke about family inheritance, and it also spoke about how girls are to get a share of the family ancestral wealth. So, these are examples where girls need to be included, even in the textbook curriculum. Even UNESCO has given a specific set of guidelines. When you give examples in a textbook, in the curriculum, there have to be an equal number of men, women, boys, and girls. Even the questions have to be framed in such a way that the traditional roles of the women or the girls need not be emphasized to such an extent that they are left out of the core domain of going out to outside work or any professional exercise. So now with this brief words, with these few words, I would like to just like you all to look at few of the pages of the books that I've pasted here. Yeah, Maitri. Now, see, this is from the Environmental Studies, class 3rd. Let us play and who does what work. Both these pages are from the class 3rd Environmental Studies, Telangana State Government books. Now in this Let Us Play, we clearly see that both these pages are gender inclusive. See, we find that the girls are on the slide. The boys are also doing the skipping like the girls. They are playing hopscotch. Whereas the cricket is being played only by the boys. But largely, by and large, the boys and girls are involved in all the games. What they're playing is not confined like, like only the boys are playing something or only the girls are playing some particular games. Both are involved with each other in playing the games. What do you all feel? Is it gender inclusive, this page? Hello? Hello?
వినిపిస్తుందా అందరికీను?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Now now let us play. Now, if you look at who does what work, this is another page again from Environmental Studies, textbook, standard 3rd. You see again here, this is gender inclusive because you have 3 men, 3 women here. I mean, girls, boys, men, women all together. This is according to the UNESCO guidelines. There should be equal number of men, women in the picture. See, if the woman is doing some work inside the house and outside the house, the daughter is fetching water, the son is also sweeping, and the grandfather is putting water to the plants, and the father is cutting the wood. So all are involved in some sort of activity, isn't it? So both these images, what we have, both these pages are gender inclusive, are examples where I don't think there appears any kind of blatant disparity of men and women performing any traditional roles. If you all don't have anything to say right now, we'll go to the next 2 pages. Would you like to say something, Rajeshwari? No. Did you raise your hand?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Then Maitri will go to the next page.
Yes.
Okay, now in this, these are 2 pages again where there is gender disparity clearly seen. Now look at this, working children. This is Kamala. She loves going to school, but now she's not going to school and she looks after her younger sister at home. Kamala's father is a farmer and her mother a laborer. She stays at home all the day, doing the household work. Whenever she finds spare time, she takes out her books and reads. She feels like going to school whenever she looks at other children who go. So this is something which is a reality. It's a social reality. Many of them are facing this. So,
Yes.
this is something good. It has come as an example in one of the textbooks so that it would also, inculcate awareness of what young girls like Kamala are facing. Now, look at this other particular page, different games and different rules. Okay, now in this particular thing, we see that all the boys and all the girls are playing. 1 minute, I can't see the screen, so that's okay. Now in this particular thing, see the boys, the boys are playing with the football. You don't have the girls there playing with the football. The girls are with the skipping rope. So see here, if you analyze the football, you compare the football with the skipping. Football is tougher, then the skipping is supposed to be easier. I mean, it would involve more physical strength, the playing of football. So why is it that the boys, that the girls also could have been shown there playing the football? Same way, cricket. See, you've got 3 boys playing football, 3 boys playing cricket in this picture. And you've got 3 girls doing the skipping. That
2 girls.
Badminton, there's 1 boy and 1 girl. So actually, they could have shown a boy skipping here and they could have shown a girl participating in the cricket. Isn't it? So these are examples which could be redone according to what the NCERT had recommended. that these are examples which, need to be a little more sensitive, even when we show pictures to students about the boys and girls, because the activities, even the games what the girls are playing, they can play cricket, they can play football, why not? Why should we show them only with a skipping rope? Okay. Hepsi, you want to say something? No? Okay.
No.
Now, next, Maitri, the next one. Yeah. Now, again, these two pages are look at this first one. You have the man on the left side, the page. You have the man, he's cooking in the kitchen, whereas his father is tying a balloon for his young son, and his mother is making his daughter wear some clothes, tying the skirt onto the daughter. So it shows, this is in the right spirit. It shows a man cooking. This is the non-traditional role of a man. But the textbook is clearly showing the man in the kitchen. So this is a very positive example, isn't it? Now, if you look at the other page here, this is also very positive because it is showing girls right to where the girls are saying she has a book in her hand and she says, I have the right to live without fear. Then there's another girl who says, right to express feelings. And then you have the girl on the swing, she says, a right to choose freely. And then you have the boy who's saying, right to dream. The boy wants to also dream. It's not dream, otherwise, generally you'll associate the girls with, girl is dreamy and girl wants to dream and have some kind of, not a very proactive life. But it's not like that. This is a very gender inclusive and a gender sensitive particular diagram, because the girls and boys both are not confined to any traditional roles in this particular picture. Am I right?
Yeah, I also want to bring another thing to the attention, the questions that they're asking below these pictures. So they are saying men and women are both working. Is this correct for father to cook? So I think they're even bringing into focus the roles that they have shown in the pictures, and even on the right side as well for the freedom of speech. So those are also very relevant.
Now we have two more pictures. So Maitri will go to the next one. Okay. Now even this is a very gender inclusive page. Now see, it talks about justice, equal justice to all in all ways. It talks about equality, and again here, keeping in mind the safety element, because safety is also important. We cannot say that the girls need to protect the safety. At the same time, they need to acquire the equality along with the boys. We cannot forsake the safety. So the safety element, the element of human rights, the element of equal opportunities, the element of respect, everything comes into play in this particular picture. So here again, you have, see, if you look at the UNESCO guidelines, always you should have equal number of male, female characters to be depicted. So here we clearly see that there are 3 women, 3 men, 3 female, 3 men. Now, this, the last page which we are going to analyze is talking about group work. Sorry, it is talking about, it's talking about good touch and bad touch. If you remember, we had come with a questionnaire right at the inception. I don't know if many of you were part of that exercise, but Srilata would maybe just give a little feedback, give a little introduction on how we did that. In that, we spoke about good touch and bad touch. So, see, in this particular lesson, that is also being spoken of in the form of these images. So that is something where, you're making the little girls aware, not just you're imparting some kind of sexual education, sexual orientation in the classroom. At this level itself, this is the class 3rd. These kind of elements have come up. So the girls become aware, what is it a bad touch, where you're not comfortable? What is it if you're comfortable with anyone touching you? So it is good that these lesson plans have been written in such a way that elements of good touch, bad touch, what should be done in society, what should be done at the school, what should be done at home, in order to keep the the students safe and the girls at par and live with equality at the school with the boys. All these type of things have come into these pictures. So, by and large, we can say that the books I didn't see any other textbook. I saw only the Telangana government state textbooks. In these, I saw about 35 pages of different textbooks. Now, in all those, I found these relevant because these were suiting to us in our lesson as to what exactly we need to convey. Now, there's one last example. Maitri, the last slide, please. Okay. Now, this is an example we are giving. Maitri, the whole thing has come. Hello, Maitri? Maitri?
Professor, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's come. Yeah. Now, we'll just read this and we'll see if it's right or wrong. How is it wrong? See, I know you'll have been very patient. It's been a longer class, but then just another 5-7 minutes and we'll be through. Now, the weather of a place can affect our daily lifestyles in many ways. This makes weather forecast significant to us. Weather influences to a very great extent the sort of food we eat, what we wear, how we live and work. Despite the advances made in science and technology, farmers and their crops are still at the mercy of the climate. So now, this is the particular statement, okay, what we are making. Now, what we really need to analyze is farmers must know the weather conditions so that their crops can be planted at the right time. Sportsmen cannot be engaged in sporting activities during certain weather conditions. The housewife too must know the weather for the day to be able to decide her daily activities, suppose like laundry work. Now, what is wrong in this, you tell me? See, we are finishing a class, so now I want you all to think. You have to think and tell me what is wrong. I want 3 wrong answers. I want 3 correct answers identifying 3 wrongs.
The first one is the housewife too must know the weather for the day to be able to decide her daily activities. It is not just the women who do the laundry work. In fact, I say, for many years, my husband used to put the washing machine at my place. So it is not just the housewife. And this farmers know the weather conditions. The farmers during this, these days they are growing the crops in the poly houses.
Okay.
To protect from the climatic conditions. So.
And what about the sportsmen?
Yeah, sportsmen.
And the fishermen. And the fishermen.
Sportsmen.
Why can't we have
sports person? Sports person.
And fisher folk.
That isn't there, no? That isn't there.
Yeah, Maitri.
It's not there.
It's not there.
No, Professor.
Oh, I'm sorry, because a part of 2 lines have been left out, I think. Yeah. So it was because I cut it to make it shorter. So you had sportsmen and fishermen. Now you can use that instead of, we can easily replace the men, the masculine gender, which is coming after the profession, by person. Fisher folk, sports person, things like that. And housewife. Why should it be? It really creates the impression that, the job of staying at home is that of the housewife. And that laundry washing is only meant for the housewife. Similarly, it also means that only the farmers and sportsmen and fishermen are to venture outside and do outside work. So these kind of examples, though it's only on weather, it looks very natural, normal to us. But if we can be a little more sensitive, a little more conscious of these few words, what we are using, so that would, make the curriculum gender sensitive and gender inclusive. I thank you all for sitting so patiently and listening to to me, and I appreciate that you all have actively participated. Due to the paucity of time, I think there is a much more which we could discuss, but maybe in the coming sessions there's always time, and we will.
I just want to say something.
Yeah, Aparna, please.
I think, Selma, you've done a wonderful job today to draw everyone out. And I really want the participants to reflect on whatever has been said today. And I have two requests to the participants. First, think about the issues raised in the presentation today and see if we ourselves have been drawing out boys more, or making boys do boys things, making girls do girls things. Have we in our own classrooms been separating them like this? Is there any way, and of course madam has already given you suggestions on how not to do this, but is there any way we can ourselves, maname a change man classroom lo తీసుకురాగలమా? ఇప్పుడు అబ్బాయిలు ఎక్కువ గట్టిగా మాట్లాడితే మనం ఇద్దరు అబ్బాయిలతో మాట్లాడేసాం అనుకోండి, నేను ఎంఏ క్లాస్ రూమ్ లో కూడా అది చేయొచ్చేమో. అమ్మాయిలు క్వైట్ గా మాట్లాడకపోతే వాళ్ళని మనం అడగలేదా? ఎంఏ లెవెల్లో మాకు యూజువలీ అలా ఉండదు, కానీ చెప్తున్నాను చిన్నపిల్లల్లో అలా ఏమన్నా ఉంటుందా, అది ఒకటి మనం ఆలోచించాలి. రెండవది, మన ఇంట్లో కానీ స్కూల్లో కానీ ఈ స్టీరియోటైప్స్ అనేవి మన వల్ల పెంచుతున్నామా? మనం ఇంట్రోస్పెక్షన్ చేయాలి. మన గురించి మనం ఆలోచించుకోవాలి. వీఆర్ ఆల్ గ్రేట్ అని మనం అనుకోలేము. సెల్మా మేడం చెప్పినట్టు ఈ రోజు నాలో మార్పు ఏమొచ్చింది. సో మేమందరం ఇవాళ మాట్లాడుకుంటున్నాము ఈ వర్క్ షాప్ ఎలా అవుతోంది అని. సో నేను ఒక క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతా మిమ్మల్ని. ఎవ్రీ డే క్యాన్ వి రిఫ్లెక్ట్ ఆన్ the session for ourselves? Whether we share with everyone or not is not important, but self reflection undali. చివర్లో మిమ్మల్ని అందరినీ మేము ఒక సెల్ఫ్ రిఫ్లెక్షన్ నోట్ రాయమని అడుగుతాం. కాబట్టి దానికోసం ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ మేకింగ్ దిస్ రిక్వెస్ట్. సారీ మైత్రి, I just came in without asking you.
That's okay. Thank you so much, Professor Farooqi. That was a very insightful session, and thank you మీ అందరికి. ఇవాళ చాలా మాట్లాడారు, చాలా అభిప్రాయాలు షేర్ చేసుకున్నారు. నెక్స్ట్ సెషన్ ఎల్లుండి ఉంటుంది, వెనస్డే నాడు 12th August సేమ్ టైం. ఆ సెషన్ కన్నా ముందు మాడ్యూల్స్ 2.1 ఇంకా 2.4లో కొన్ని రీడింగ్స్, కొన్ని వీడియోస్ ఉన్నాయి. వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ లో పెడతాను దాన్ని ఎలా రీచ్ అవ్వాలో అనేది. కల్పన గారు, మీరు స్టార్టింగ్ లో మెన్షన్ చేశారు లాస్ట్ టైం రీడింగ్స్ దొరకలేదని. అలాంటి ఏ ఇష్యూ అయినా ప్లీజ్ వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ లో పెట్టండి, ఎందుకంటే సెషన్ కన్నా ముందు మీరు ఇవన్నీ చదివి చూసి రావడం చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో అలాంటి ఇష్యూస్ ఏమైనా ఉంటే ప్లీజ్ వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ మీదే రేస్ చేయండి కన్సర్న్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఎవ్రీబడి. హ్యావ్ అ గుడ్ డే. Bye.
Thank you. Good day. Good day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.